How to forgive someone who doesn't know they're wrong. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our show, Heartfelt Lessons. This week, we're going to talk about a challenge that many of us have faced, or will face at some point in our lives. How to forgive someone who has hurt you, but doesn't even realize they were wrong. I must say right away, this is not something anyone wants to go through. We only face it when we truly have no choice. While our rational mind knows that every pain carries a lesson, our heart may not be eager to learn it. So if you're holding on to memories, frustration, or resentment towards someone, let's explore ways to help you feel lighter. First of all, forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. It's for your own peace, to lighten the weight on your soul, and to allow you to continue living a calmer, more free life. I know this is not easy, which is why I want to speak slowly, carefully, and thoroughly, not just a short 30-second piece of advice. Forgiveness is a process that requires understanding, patience, and careful steps. The important thing to remember is you don't have to forget the person who hurt you. You can still remember them, but the feelings of anger and resentment can gradually fade. Forgiveness is like a healing salve for the wounds of your soul. For some, this salve works quickly. For others, it takes longer. But it will eventually help the wound heal. I know many of you feel exhausted from prolonged anger, especially when you hope the person will apologize, and they never do. Sometimes they don't even know they've done wrong. Holding on to that anger only weighs you down. The other person may feel nothing, but you still carry the pain. That's why forgiveness is ultimately for freeing yourself. It helps reduce stress, eases the tension that resurfaces when you recall old wounds, and allows you to move forward with a lighter heart. We all understand pain. We all feel wounds deeply, especially wounds caused by betrayal or harm that others don't even recognize. Understanding this doesn't mean the pain is trivial. Rather, it's a way to continue living in peace. So the final question is, how can we truly forgive for our own sake, so that we feel relief afterward and can move forward in life? Let's explore that in the next part of the program. Step 1. Change your perspective. Friends, the first step in learning to forgive is to shift your way of thinking. Don't focus only on what someone has done to you. Try looking at what they didn't do for you. In essence, these two perspectives are very similar. The difference is simply the angle from which you view the situation. For example, if someone breaks a promise to you, you might see it as betrayal or a failure to keep their word. But if you change your perspective, you could say they simply did not honor their commitment to you. Seeing it this way is thinking in reverse. And this is the first step toward reducing anger and pain. This approach is especially helpful for those who have experienced the pain of betrayal. I know many people carry this wound for years without healing, and that's completely understandable. No one has the right to criticize you if you haven't forgiven yet, because the pain is real. Sometimes in marriage, betrayal is even protected by law or society, while with a romantic partner who isn't legally or socially bound, if they betray you, it's very difficult to hold them accountable. Sometimes they disappear, leaving you with the pain, and that pain can last a long time. I completely empathize, and I want to stress that we all feel wounds the same way. Pain is pain. I am not immune, friends. We are all in the same boat. Returning to the point, look at betrayal in reverse. They were not faithful to you. If someone is overly controlling, think of it this way. They did not respect your personal space. Always try to approach situations with this reversed perspective. Step 2. Understand the person who hurt you. After you've shifted your perspective, ask yourself, the things they didn't do for you, were they ever taught the value of those things throughout their life? From childhood to adulthood? Did they truly understand their importance? Slow down, reflect, and try to put yourself in their shoes a little. Step by step, this will help you start freeing yourself from the pain. Analyzing the wound, understanding the other person's lack of awareness. Friends, let me give an example about fidelity. If you say that someone cheated on you, it's hard to analyze because cheating is a vague concept and difficult to measure. But if you say that they were not faithful to you, now we can go deeper. Ask yourself, from childhood to adulthood, were they ever taught the value of fidelity? In many cases, the answer is no. I have seen people grow up in chaotic, unhappy families where the concept of fidelity almost never existed in their minds. Analyzing it this way, we realize they didn't give you something they themselves didn't know or feel. But let me be clear, this does not mean we excuse their actions. Wrong is wrong, yet understanding the reasons behind it can help ease the pain. Someone who deceived you most likely never truly understood or was taught about fidelity from a young age. I know for many, this is hard to accept, and that's completely normal. Rationally, we all know, even the worst among us, that being unfaithful is wrong. But what matters is this. Some people know it only theoretically and don't grasp the depth of it. They cannot feel how deeply their actions can wound someone else. Many simply don't think about it. When we understand this, we see that the person who hurt us likely didn't realize the extent of the damage they caused. Personally, when I analyzed it to the fullest, I had to accept this truth. For myself and for life, they truly did not know. At first, this realization can be even harder to accept than before analyzing it. Intellectually, they may know, but emotionally, they don't understand how deeply their action wound others. We need to accept this fact, but this is only the first step. The next step will bring real relief. For now, this analysis helps us realize that the harm others cause, or that we cause, is often due to a lack of foresight about the consequences. Let me give an example. I once knew a charming, handsome man, very popular, who would start relationships but leave after a while. When I asked why, he said, "If it doesn't feel right anymore, I just stop. Why make a fuss?" And clearly he had no concept that this action could deeply hurt someone else. As I got to know him better, I realized that from childhood, he had never been taught about fidelity. In fact, his family had many issues. His parents divorced, and he was even raised with lessons that subtly encouraged unfaithfulness. So in his mind, the idea that betrayal causes pain simply did not exist. Strange as it sounds, this is true, and it caused real sadness for those who loved him. Accepting and analyzing the pain. The next step in the forgiveness process, friends, the next step is to accept the truth. When someone wrongs you, it is not always because they are bad or malicious. Very often, it is because they simply have no concept of it, or at least they are not deep enough to truly feel it. In fact, we can tentatively conclude they don't realize their actions are causing you pain. I must admit, when I say this, I use the word surrender. And truly, this is an uncomfortable word even for me. When you're angry at someone, you want to take action to get revenge, to make them feel the pain they caused. But when you analyze it to the fullest, you realize they don't know. And you have to accept that. This process is not easy. At first, you will still feel anger and discomfort, but be patient. Dig deep, and you will see, very likely, they truly do not understand or feel what they have done. For example, if you encounter someone who is overly controlling, it is clear that they did not give you respect for your personal space or freedom. At this point, continue asking. From childhood to adulthood, were they ever taught about privacy, about respecting others' thoughts and space? If you have a chance to observe their family, their parents, siblings, you may see clearly. They really do not know, and they don't understand what it means. Here is a real-life example. Two people in a relationship where the woman has a controlling tendency. She is jealous, constantly checking his messages, wanting to know everything he does, which makes him exhausted. But upon closer understanding, it turns out she grew up in a controlling family and, unconsciously, she behaves that way. Respecting privacy, she was never taught, never experienced it, so she simply doesn't know how to give it to others. Once again, I emphasize, pain is pain and wrong is wrong. We do not excuse or justify their actions. We simply analyze to the deepest level to find relief for ourselves. Sometimes, to find peace, we must accept that they do not have it to give. And this is only step 2. This step helps you understand the reason and accept the truth. But it is not yet the step that brings full relief. Step 3 is when we learn from the past, see the present, and move toward the future, truly freeing ourselves from the pain. Now, let's broaden the scope to society outside. Every day, you spend at least 8 hours outside living in the world. Your life is closely connected with many strangers. And often, the people who hurt you come from someone you love, who was initially a stranger or a friend or a close companion. So you need to understand this. Before connecting with someone, whether in friendship or love, see if they possess the traits you value, and only then form a bond. As our elders say, choose your friends wisely. This is also true when choosing a romantic partner. You must carefully check if the person has the characteristics you care about. For example, if betrayal is your biggest fear, during the process of getting to know each other, observe whether this person has a loyalty gene. This is actually quite easy to recognize. For instance, watch a movie together that includes themes of fidelity or cheating, and then discuss it. You will see their perspective, or observe their family from childhood. If that family values intimacy, loyalty, and proper conduct, then the likelihood that they were taught and understand these values from an early age is very high. By slowing down, observing and understanding, you can clearly discern these traits. It's no coincidence that in romantic relationships there is a stage called the getting to know each other phase. It's very important for understanding one another. When you think this way, past hurts no longer dictate everything. Your present and future are entirely in your hands. Step 3, resetting the building blocks of life, creating a healthy present and future friends. Truly, you can choose to surround yourself only with good people. Once you identify your core values, the principles that matter most to you, And when you look at someone and see whether they share these values, most of your relationships will naturally be healthy and positive. So step 3 is about resetting the building blocks of your life. Think of the past as already having some painful blocks in place, right? Today, we start laying new blocks. Blocks of respect, integrity, kindness, and wholesomeness. By continuously building with these good blocks, your present will improve and your future will naturally become more positive as well. At this point, you won't allow negative influences to enter your life. You will get used to a new environment, your standards will rise, and your level of happiness will stabilize. This is how, in the long run, you can achieve true peace and contentment. Just like forgiveness in today's lesson, this process is like a long bridge connecting the past, the present, and the future. It opens up a future where negative values no longer control your life. For those who have hurt you in the past, this mindset allows you to close the chapter. You can say, "I'm tired, I don't want to think about it anymore. It's over. I've analyzed it enough, and I understand that this was never in their nature, so they couldn't give it to me." With that, the past stops there. The present and future are now under your control. You will not allow people who lack the virtues you value to enter your life. In this way, your present and future are rewritten, carefully selected and considered, just as our elders taught. Choose your friends wisely. Now, let's review the 3 steps together. By this point, you probably already have an idea of what these steps are, but let's go over them again so we don't forget. Step 1. Change your perspective. Look at actions from the opposite angle. Instead of focusing only on what others have done to hurt you, think in reverse and notice what they didn't do. For example, instead of saying, "They betrayed me," you can think, "They were not faithful to me." The goal is to place the situation in an objective perspective, preparing you for the next step. And you see, step 2, analyze the reason and accept the reality. Ask yourself, were they taught this value from childhood? Do they understand it? Many people who hurt you don't realize the pain they cause, or they were never taught, or they simply lack the experience to understand this value. Accepting this reality can help release some of your anger, even though this step does not yet bring complete relief. Step 3. Build a healthy present and future. Choose healthy people to connect with based on the values you hold dear. Reset the building blocks of your life. Today, build with blocks of respect, integrity, kindness, and wholesomeness. Let the past stay behind. The present and future are under your control, creating a better, happier, and more peaceful environment for yourself. So, that's everything I want to share with you today. I know this is not easy, but for the sake of your own peace, try a little. Let the old wounds stop hurting so you can move forward and continue your life with lightness and serenity. Thank you so much for listening today. Goodbye, and see you next time.